Hello everyone, my name is Kristen Avalos with KristenAvalos.com, creator of the Your Life, Your Way signature coaching system and also the upcoming group coaching program, Babes with Boundaries. And a lot of the videos that I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months are really going to connect to some of the themes and some of the work that we'll be doing in this group coaching program. And I was watching a documentary this weekend called Emotion. It was streaming on Canopy, so it's something I get through my library if you're interested in watching it. And it was really fascinating because a lot of what they were saying, of course, is really connected to the work that I do in coaching. And it's hard sometimes to really get someone to understand exactly what coaching is or what the benefit of doing coaching is, because it's just something so unfamiliar to a lot of people. It's just not something that is in our common language, like going to a doctor or knowing what a lawyer does. And so I loved this this documentary because it was really showing the power of emotion and how it affects our happiness, how it affects our well-being, our physical health, but also our relationships and the things that make us happy. And so the reason that you would want to do coaching is because you're actually tapping into the power of your emotions, which you have to do because you have to feel emotions. That's what the purpose of them is. You have to actually feel them and acknowledge them and honor them and work with them. And it is something that takes a lot of courage, and it is something that takes a lot of vulnerability to do. But ultimately, what you're going to get on the other side of it is happiness, is joy, is better health and better relationships. And so that's why I wanted to do this video, because we're talking about your deepest needs in this video. And a lot of times our deepest needs are things that we have stuffed down, and people commonly in our society feel depressed. And what I always tell my clients, or when I'm making videos, when we are feeling depression, we're actually depressing emotions, and we're depressing our motivation, we're depressing our creativity, we're depressing our power, but even more so, we're depressing sadness, and we're depressing grief and anger, things that we don't want to feel. But if you want to get to where you're feeling motivated and you're feeling creative and inspired, you have to dig deeper, and you have to actually acknowledge that there are other things that you're feeling so that you can feel the good things that you want to feel. And so going back to deepest needs, why is this important? Because a lot of people say, I don't have needs. I don't want to acknowledge that I have needs. Well, when you think of your health, when you're not acknowledging that you have needs, you might wonder why you're feeling, why you have arthritis. You might be wondering possibly why you're having issues conceiving. These are issues related to needs. You might wonder why you have lower back pain. Again, this is suppressing emotion related to needs. On the other side, if you're not necessarily feeling health issues, you might wonder, why am I working so hard and I don't see any reward? Why am I working so hard and I don't ever have the resources or the support that I need? Why am I, giving and giving and I have no money to show for it? So this just shows that even though emotions aren't something that we necessarily are comfortable talking about and that we know how to talk about, there are real tangible problems that come when we don't acknowledge them. So I'm going to do a visualization with you. So I want you to just take a moment and close your eyes and take a deep breath in, really allow yourself to get here. And I want you to just picture or imagine a younger version of you. And this might be younger, like childhood, like the age of 4 or 5, or maybe it's in your teenage years. And just be okay with whatever you're imagining or whatever your mind is bringing up for you. And I want you to just get a feel for how this younger version of you looks and maybe what they're feeling. And I want you to allow your mind to paint you a picture or ask your mind to show you a moment where that younger version of you or that child version of you realized that some of their needs were not going to be met. And I just want you to imagine what's coming to you at this time, and maybe think about maybe your needs couldn't be met because you were in an unsafe environment. There was some danger in your environment. Maybe you had a highly critical parent, or a parent that was undergoing some sort of crisis in their own life. Maybe it was a health problem. Maybe they were caring for other children or on their family members or other people. And I want you to just think about how in this moment that was shown to you, that you learned as a young child that your needs were not going to be met, or it wasn't safe to acknowledge these needs. And so you made a vow at this young age to say that you just didn't have needs in the first place. And in order to move past this, you maybe learn to be the good child, be perfect, be super helpful. Maybe you learned to just be invisible and not even be a burden to anyone else. But it was in this moment that something happened that you've then carried on with you to continue to not get basic needs met. And when you think about this happening as a child really does have very basic needs, but they're needs that we all have, whether we're children or adults. We just want to be nurtured. We want to be supported. We want to be hugged. We want to be loved. These are all needs that you were shown as a child that it wasn't safe to ask for, and it wasn't safe to even acknowledge that you had those needs. And I want you to really sit with this for a second, because it's something that is the basis for pretty much everything else that happens in life. So this is a big moment of awareness to have. This is a big aha moment. And sit with it and notice if you're feeling some discomfort now. Notice if you're feeling sadness, if you're feeling like you want to cry right now, if you're feeling some anger or some grief at the fact that this was true, that you really didn't get the love and support that you needed. And something that I work with, because when we're talking about emotions, it's very important that we incorporate our body into it. That's why I do tapping, because it's allowing you to release the stress that's coming when you're thinking about these emotions, whether it's consciously like we're doing now or unconsciously if it's something running in your system. And definitely go to my YouTube page. I have a lot of different videos talking about how to tap and some different situations, but I'm going to jump right into tapping right now. So follow me through the points and repeat after me, and we're going to just try to ease the stress of some of the emotions that might be coming up from this picture. So here I am, and I see that I made a vow to not have needs. And I made a vow to be perfect, to be the responsible one, to be a little adult. Because it wasn't safe to have my needs met. And it wasn't safe to ask. So I learned that I should just not have needs. And so I learned to give and give and give, because it wasn't okay for me to need from anyone else. And I realized that this has caused me a lot of pain and sadness. And I wasn't able to get the love and support that I needed. And when I think about it, I still don't get the love and support that I need. And this causes a lot of sadness in my life right now. Because I do have needs. I am a human. I definitely have needs. But I was taught that it just wasn't okay to feel them. And I realize how this has played out in my life. Not getting the joy and pleasure that I really am looking for. Not getting the reward that I want when I work so hard. Not getting money to flow into my life. And not getting the pleasure that I desperately want. And I realize that I've made this vow to not have needs. And I honor all that this brings up within me. And I'm open to having the courage, just a little bit, to acknowledge that I do have needs that I need satisfied. And I do want more love and support in my life. And I want the money and the reward that comes with the hard work that I do. Okay, so take a deep breath in. And so like I said, this isn't the most comfortable work to do, and it does take a lot of courage to do it. But know that this is exactly what has to be done if you're going to get to the other side where the joy and the happiness and the reward comes from. This is the work that has to be done. So definitely leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see what your aha moment was. And definitely check out my group coaching program that will be launching in January, Babes with Boundaries, where you will be in a supportive environment with other women going through the same things that you're going through to really move through and do this work in a supportive environment. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.